Gendered Language. Shalom lekulam and welcome back to Hebrew Grammar Help. I'm Sub here, and today I'm doing a shorter video only because I'm a little behind and I want to get something out. And this is one of the grammar points that I can do without actually having to write myself a script and notes and all that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of videos where they'll just say, oh, this is how I say I love you. And for a guy, you say it this way. Well, when you've got the sentence, I love you, you can't just say for a guy, because there are two people in that sentence. So when you say for a guy, it goes this way. Which person is the guy in that sentence? So here I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to recognize the gender in when you hear sentences like this in videos where they're just giving you a quick sentence about how to say something. So let's start, for example, with a sentence like I love you. Now the word that means I is ani, and the first person ani, and then if it's plural, it's anachnu. That means we. First person pronouns are the only ones that do not change for gender. So whether if I'm a man or a woman, it does not, the word ani does not change at all. It's ani, no matter who I am. The next element in the sentence is the verb that means love. Now this one is going to change depending on whether you are a man or a woman. And so basically there are the masculine singular is always considered like the base form in whichever verb tense that you're doing a conjugation table in. So in Hebrew, if you want to say I love, for a man that's going to be ani ohev. If it's going to be a woman who's the person who loves somebody, it's ani ohevet. So the difference is the masculine form is ohev, that ends with a V sound, and the feminine form is ohevet. It has a little ending or a suffix, et, that makes that verb match a feminine subject. And so in the verb ohevet, it's an et ending that makes it feminine. And for most verbs, all the different kind of types of verbs, the feminine is going to add an et ending to make it feminine. That you just add et to whatever the masculine version is, and now you've got the feminine. But there are some verbs that you either add, instead of an et ending, you add an a ending, and it has a hey at the end. So there are two really big groups of these verbs, and one of them is, these are the ones that are like, if you want to say I feel, a man says I feel, he says ani margish, and a woman says ani margisha. So you can hear that we've got an a ending when the woman says it. And then the other one is words like I started to mention that there was a third one, and this is why I usually do a script, because I always forget what I'm trying to say. There is a third type of way to change a verb from the basic masculine singular form to a feminine form, and that's when the verb ends in the vowel sound. Usually it has a hey at the end, and what happens with the feminine is that sound gets replaced by an sound. So it's a little bit different from the verbs like ba and ba'a, rats and ratza, shar and shara, because those are adding an sound, just simply adding the sound to the masculine form. And the same thing happens with the verbs like margish, margisha. Nothing is subtracted from the masculine form. It's just an with a hey is added at the end. Whereas this third group is verbs that end with a hey in the masculine form. So verbs like ose, which means he does or I do, if that person is masculine. And then what happens is the vowel, that last vowel, actually just changes. So we don't add an at the end, we change the to an and that's how we make it feminine. So these are verbs like ose, osa, kone, kona, rotse, rotsa, verbs like that. So those are the three main ways to make a masculine verb into a feminine verb. The most common way is to add et at the end. Another common way is to add at the end. And then a third common way is to change an at the end to an a. Now, going back to our original sentence of I love you, now we have to talk about the gender of the you person. When we say I love you, in English, there's no preposition, right? It's just I love you. We don't say I love to you or I love about you, right? It's just I love you. The you comes directly after the verb, and that's what makes it a direct object. In Hebrew, almost all of the verbs have some kind of a preposition that goes after them. And so now there is one preposition that is really kind of an odd one, and that is the preposition et. And it's a little bit odd because, first of all, it doesn't have a translation in English. When we use et in Hebrew, it is almost always corresponds to just a direct object in English, and therefore a direct object means there is no preposition. So the other weirdity about et is that it does get deleted if what comes after it is an indefinite noun phrase. Now, I know I'm using a lot of big words. I've made an entire video about the preposition et, so you can go back and look at that one. But I just wanted to say that I'm mentioning this because if it weren't for that situation whereby et gets deleted before an indefinite noun phrase, then what I would say is that 100% of verbs in Hebrew that have something after them have to have a preposition. Prepositions in Hebrew are a little bit difficult because you can't just say the preposition the way it is and then add a separate word for whatever the word is that goes after the preposition. They do that if what comes after it is a name or a noun. But if what comes after it is a pronoun, then it is not a separate word. It's an ending that goes on that preposition. And so that is the case when we say, I love you. The word love uses the preposition et. And so when we say, I love you, we have to use the preposition et with the proper pronoun ending that is the correct form of you. Talking about you, whether you are masculine or you are feminine. And so et is a little bit of a strange one because it also gets a vowel change. We don't say et plus the pronoun ending most of the time. We say that et turns into ot, and then we add our pronoun ending. So to say I love you, if I want to say you and you are masculine, that's going to be otcha, otcha. If I say I love you and you are feminine, that's otach, otach. A couple of things that are confusing about this is that, first of all, when we write without nikud, otcha and otach look exactly alike. You just have to know from context how to pronounce it. Who is this person talking to? Are they talking to a man or are they talking to a woman? And that's how you know how to pronounce it. The second thing that's a little bit difficult is that we do very much get used to the fact that anything with an a at the very end, like otcha, it sounds to us beginners like, oh, that must be the feminine form. But it is not the case with the pronominal endings. The cha ending is always masculine you, and the ach, or something with it's like ach or aich or something like that, is always the feminine you. And so in Hebrew, if a man is saying I love you to another man or a boy, you say ani ohev otcha. If a man is saying I love you to a woman or a girl, you say ani ohev otach. If a woman is saying I love you to a man or a boy, she says ani ohevet otcha. And if a woman is saying I love you to another woman or a girl, she says ani ohevet otach. Okay? And this works, I've heard it one other time. I've seen a video where they quickly just glossed over, oh, okay, this is how you say I miss you. And they said it, this is how it is for masculine and this is how it is for feminine. And I again was like, whoa, 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 I miss you. There's two people in that sentence. Which one is masculine? Is it the subject of the sentence or the person who is being missed? So the word for to miss in Hebrew is lahitga'agea. It's a really kind of odd word. It's a hitpa'el verb. It's got 4 shoresh letters. It's a lot of guttural letters in there. So it's not the easiest word to say. But again, if it's a man who misses somebody, it's mitga'agea. Ani mitga'agea. But if it's a woman who misses somebody, you say ani mitga'aga'at. Now instead of an et ending, it's an at ending, and that's because of the guttural letter at the end of the shoresh. It's got an ayin, and ayin tends to change the vowels to ah sounds, and that's what happens here. So ani mitga'agea means a man misses somebody. Ani mitga'aga'at means a woman misses somebody. Now lahitga'agea does not use the preposition et, right? We think, well, I love you, I miss you. In English, it's the same. Well, that's English. It's not Hebrew. Hebrew verbs get to choose their own prepositions. And while love, le'ehov, chooses et as its preposition, lehitgagea chooses el as its preposition. And so, if the person who is missed is a man, it's going to be eleja. And remember what I said, that the men have the cha at the end, right? If it's a woman who is missed, it's going to be elayich. A little bit different. It's not like elach, it's elayich. And so, if a man misses a man, ani mitga'agea elecha. If a man misses a woman, ani mitga'agea elayich. If a woman misses a man, ani mitga'agat elecha. And if a woman misses a woman, ani mitga'agat elayich. So you can see from both of these sets of sentences that it's not enough to just say, oh, for a man it's this one, for a woman it's this one. Each one of these has 4 sets of sentences, and that's just for singular. Of course, you can also be plural. If I miss all of you, then we're going to have plural. And I'm not going to get into that today, but it's, you know, I'm just talking about all of the singular yous. So just when you hear a video like that and you're wondering, oh, well, okay, she said for a man it's this way, for a woman it's this way. Just remember that if the woman is the subject of the sentence, that verb is gonna have either a taf at the end of it or an with a hey at the end of it, like an sound with a hey at the end of it. And usually that taf at the end makes it like an et sound or an at sound. And for the other person in the sentence, who is now the object of some preposition, the one that ends with cha, that's going to be you singular masculine. And if it ends with ach or ech or ayich, that's going to be you singular feminine. Alright, I hope that wasn't too confusing. Let me know if it was. I do intend to do a separate video completely about all of the pronoun endings and how there's like 2 different sets, right? So I'm going to talk about how to add all of the pronoun endings to the various prepositions, but that, of course, is going to be a separate video. So, as always, if you have any questions or feedback, please leave it in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you. Hit like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and press the notification bell if you want to see more. Lehitraot, Papa Ama.